You know, those men and women who serve in our military can come home carrying a lot of weight, and not the kind that you can see. That's why service dogs have been a lifeline for vets in need. And now you can help veterans get those dogs by taking part in this year's Ruff Ruck Challenge, where you carry the weight. Tony Leskovich is here. He's the founder of the Ruff Ruck, and he's here with some friends. We've got Velvet. She's the shelter manager at Big Lake Humane Society. Jamie from the foundation, WMK9. Welcome to all of you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
And the lady, I left somebody out. Velvet, I'm sorry. And who's this?
This is Miss Olive.
Miss Olive. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to leave you out. Welcome back.
We meet again.
Here we are for the Ruff Ruck again. Talk about, for those who don't know, I mentioned a little bit about that weight that they're carrying around, that emotional weight, right?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what the Ruff Ruck does.
The Ruff Ruck supplies service dogs for veterans and first responders. So this is a rucking event where you carry either a weighted backpack or a weighted vest. And it started from about 3 years ago. One night my wife comes home from work and one of our employees was a Marine vet, and they got a new Cane Corso puppy and it swallowed a bouncy ball, like right after getting it.
Oh no.
And it was lodging in its intestines. They took it to emergency and they said, we can't operate until you have about 4,000 to put down. And so my wife looks at me like, hey, what do you want to do about this? And she looked at me knowingly like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I went out the next day. I threw on a ruck, which is something I was just doing for my own mental health and just to get out and walk and get moving. And I went Facebook Live, and I went 21 miles with a 40-pound ruck and raised all the money for his dog.
That's amazing.
And that's what inspired this.
You're like, well, if carrying a ruck can do that.
Yeah, so I thought, well, it felt so fulfilling that I didn't throw all the money at it and do it that way, that I went out and worked for it. And it just sat with me. Yeah,
you would have.
And it sat with me for a while, like, man, if it makes me feel this good to have done something like this, I wonder if there's a way I can extend this to other people and so they can feel the same thing I did.
Wow, you just verbalized pay it forward. That's what it is. I mean, taking something and using your goodness to make more goodness. Jamie, you WMK9 Foundation, let's talk about this.
Yeah, so actually the way it started with our relationship is we showed up at a birthday party together. And he's like, hey, I need to talk to you. I have this idea. And he went through all of that. He's like, I was thinking we could pair it with the foundation and, get these service dogs into the arms of veterans. And we just kept brainstorming and it went from there. So yeah, it's an incredible foundation. I love working for it, being part of it and seeing, not only pairing them, but I'm in charge of like all the stuff after, making sure they have their food, making sure they get to the vet, all those things. And so I see their journey. The Ruff Ruck, it doesn't just stop there.
Right, you're really heavily involved in this foundation and what you're doing. And now we're growing, we're bringing in Big Lake Humane. And what is this going to do now? I'm hearing that maybe some of the dogs at the shelter, at the Humane Society, are becoming service dogs.
Yeah, so light bulb went off a few months ago, and I thought, man, I don't even remember what it was. Just one day, it's just like it just came to me. And I had been part of a fundraiser through this big, they're called Jordan's Way, and they came into Big Lake Humane, and Big Lake Humane asked if I would be one of the team leaders for this fundraising event that they had. I ended up meeting them. They asked me if I would want to be on their board maybe in the future, and we raised $23,000 in like 3 hours.
Wow. Oh.
So that's where our relationship started. They showed up at our Ruff Ruck last year. And I thought, man, that's super cool. I didn't expect to see you guys here. Thank you for coming and supporting. So something kind of sat with me. And then just a few months ago, I reached out to all the leadership that I'd become friends with there. And I said, hey, I have this crazy idea. What if instead of us going out into the world and finding these dogs that get donated to us and they go through the different vetting, what if we could use shelter dogs instead? And
well, I guess that kind of brings in Velvet, right? You were thrilled. Did they a home for dogs? I mean, that's kind of what you're all about, right?
Exactly. So it was back in June. Tony came in, lots of energy, lots of ideas. Actually hadn't been back to our shelter since the big fundraiser last year and didn't even know we have a quarter-mile nature trail on our 10 acres that was built by the veterans of Muskegon County for us. And started pitching this kind of idea of how we could potentially find these different types of homes for dogs. And the idea is when you meet a shelter dog, a lot of people think they're broken, that they're not as good as a bred dog, or
a certain breed because they're mixed, or we don't know their background or where they came from or anything like that. But we get to know them and their personalities, and we see so many dogs come in that with just a little bit of help, a little bit of funding, and just a chance, basically, that they could show how they could be so much more.
I think you just kind of, there's got to be the same feeling that some of the veterans are feeling inside too.
Yeah, there's a lot of storytelling
just a little
here.
bit
It's really
just give me a
quick.
chance. I could be something. I'm just carrying a lot of stuff right now, and these service dogs really make a difference. Olive, you're adorable, by the way.
Well, we have actually another dynamic too that we're hoping we're going to do this at scale. The Ruff Ruck actually just a few months ago I got a letter from the IRS, and I was like, oh no, what is this? And it was the acceptance of us becoming our own 501c3. So
Congratulations.
So that's super cool. And then an idea hit me where I own First Assured Bail Bonds. That it's a bail bond company, and I have a relationship with Leland Chapman from Dog the Bounty Hunter. So I had this other harebrained idea. He had actually captured a fugitive for us in Texas recently. And I'm just sitting there working on the Ruff Ruck, and I call him, put him on speakerphone, and said, hey, what do you think about coming and supporting? He actually had a trained Malinois that he lost not that long ago, and he's really big advocate for our first responders.
Is he getting involved?
Yeah, and he said that he would love to come out and support this event. So there's a Leland Chapman meet and greet that's happening at the same time.
Insane.
And he's got over 1 million followers on
yeah.
Facebook, and people are coming from far and wide. I'm actually a little nervous this event's going to
Hey,
be
listen,
crazy.
You can come to run, you can come to watch, you can come to meet a celebrity, right?
Yeah.
That's very
And this is
cool.
what we hope to do from here on out. We're going to do one in Grand Rapids next, and I'm
All
hoping
right.
maybe someone. I had Frankie LaPena on my radar because he's from here. I don't
All
know
right,
if you know.
Frankie, if you're watching.
So if you're watching, Frankie,
Let's get the details out for this one.
Perfect.
October 18th, that's coming up really quick. That's this weekend. Wonderland Distilling in Muskegon, that's where the Ruff Ruck Challenge is happening. You heard there might be one coming to GR soon, but it's not yet, so get up to Muskegon. Registration at 11, races at noon, and it only cost you $25, and you could help a veteran get one of those service dogs. Thanks for the time this morning, guys.
thank you.
Thank you.